What's going on, y'all? My name is Joltage, and today, bringing you something different this time. We've got some live LCU action for the last game of the season between Zero and Albinson. This is in the finals. I think this is only the second game of the series so far,
Yep.
so all to play for still. And with me today, we've got, channel regular. We've got Kip in the building.
Yep.
Alright.
It's a very exciting time. I think the score is 1-0 up the Azuros from the
Yes.
Zeros team.
Yes.
So, what do you think of this matchup?
So matchup wise, Meowth goes crazy.
Oh yeah.
Also, Zero's team has no rocks at all.
No.
And potentially no hazard control, though Snunky can conceivably be running defog, obviously.
I mean,
But
it's also very possible that Albinson doesn't have Stealth Rock.
I guess, but like I don't see why you wouldn't throw it on the Diglett there.
That's fair.
But I know Zero last week was talking about how the games feel too fast-paced to really be focused on rock, so he just really went with that this weekend with his team.
Yeah.
But
Unfortunately, that's the exact way he runs into his Shellos build, where rocks really helps.
Absolutely. And like we said, Meowth goes crazy here, and Albinson decides to lead off with it. Fake Out does a good chunk, and Meowth's just going to be able to U-turn out right here for free, as Albinson can go right into a Shellos.
I mean, it could be Sucker Punch.
True, but I don't think that kills. I could be wrong, though.
Yeah, like, why would you put yourself on a life orb timer that much and not just safely go into the Krogunk? Just to scout it.
I'd go Shellos before Krogunk.
Yeah,
but,
that's fair too.
Shellos is actually pretty decent in this game. He does go for that U-turn, like I said.
And I just tested this team with Albinson some minutes ago, and the Shellos does have Ice Beam for the Pumpkaboo.
Okay, that's definitely good to know. So, like we said, Shellos comes out. Earth Power is always a possibility, but it can also just go for fairly free Scald. Zero doesn't exactly have anything that wants to switch into it, especially that we know there is the Ice Beam. Goes right for the Scald. Do we get a burn? No burn. Okay, this is Pumpkaboo small, likely physical. Could not be, but that Scald didn't do a lot, so it also might be EVO pump. I think. What do you think Albie's best play here is?
Be safe.
Yeah.
Like, there's not really a whole lot Albinson can do about it, because switching in Meowth blank is just way too risky.
Yeah, you don't want to switch Meowth into a potential Bullet Seed. Pumpkaboo goes right for the Flame Charge, catches the Cot, doesn't do a lot, and this is not a Life Orb Pumpkaboo, as you know that Scald damage would have indicated. Cot can encore this and go right back out to Shellos if it wants to. It can. There are options here. It also doesn't really fear the Poltergeist. It could live, but it does go for that encore.
I'm not sure I like that play because Cot's very low. Oh.
Yeah, now what's switching into the Scald?
I was expecting Zero to switch out there.
Yeah, the only thing he could have switched to that would have threatened the Shellos would be the Joltik, obviously. So
yeah. But that would have been a better situation than where he is right now.
Oh, for sure. Now he has nothing that really wants to come into this. He's just going to stay in. Maybe doesn't expect the Ice Beam, as it is revealed. It lives, and now the Encore's ended. Pumpkaboo's plenty fast now, but needs to go to the Bullet Seed to have a chance to kill. Gets a crit on one hit, but if it was going to go 3 hits, it didn't. Yeah, if it was going to go to 3 hits anyway, it didn't matter. So down goes Shellos. That's pretty good for 0.
Yeah, that's really, really good.
Out comes Joltik. And do we think this is just going to be a pump sack? It's really low. It's already like...
Yeah, I think you just get the flame charge chip and move on with life.
Yeah.
I don't think it makes any particular progress versus any of the rest of the members on this team.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Poltergeist is stronger than flame charge, of course.
Yeah. And you get to make sure that the Joltik is Eviolite.
Yeah. That's true.
Alright, so, I mean, Magby comes in for free here and is basically claiming one. Or not, you know, just, that's fine. I didn't...
Yeah, I mean, Stunky makes the same kind of process.
Yeah, that's true. That is definitely true.
And your Magby doesn't have to deal with the Meowth later, where you can now just maybe sack the Stunky,
I feel
deal
like you
the
could have did
aftermath
that.
damage.
I feel like you could have did that anyway, is the thing. That did 0 damage.
What? That is one chunky Krogunk.
That did 0. That fire blast did 0 damage. Is this poison touch Krogunk? Like, what is going on?
I would assume it at this point, and he just straight up goes for another.
I don't like that series of plays from 0. I would have kept the Stunky to sack to the Meowth for the aftermath.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Magby on that Joltik would have just netted a kill no matter what. So, yeah.
If Albinson keeps this Krogunk alive, I think it's very much his game to win at this point.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of the way 0 played that out there.
There is a possibility that the Pancham will break, because both the Krogunk and the Joltik are chipped down, but it's hard for 0.
Okay. I mean, he has time. I think this is a Giga, right? I would say a Volt Switch, but like...
It's 50-50, it's hard.
Buzz. Not quite in swarm range either, so yeah. Goes out hard out to Lax, interestingly. That did 0 damage, that is the...
Oh, this is a really good position for 0 though, because now he can double edge in order to avoid knockout. Oh, okay, sure.
Okay, Krogunk goes down.
If he took the recoil, he would have healed up with his berry juice, and the Meowth wouldn't be able to knock.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. And I think Albinson's actually in a worse position than I thought. He doesn't really have a ton of sacks for the Meowth to get multiple fake outs off. Because he has to go to
I wonder why he sacked the Krogunk of all things.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what he was doing there. He goes out to his Diglett, I guess, to rock, or...
I don't think that KOs.
Oh no, Diglett definitely doesn't KO. I think he would, like...
No.
What? Iron Head, does he get a flinch? Just goes for the Earthquake. Okay, you know what? 0's in a better position than I thought.
Fair. Ow. This is an extremely good position.
What happened here? Okay, fake out. Nox not gonna do a lot. This is not a double edge Meowth. That's kind of fallen out of favor lately. So, yeah, Albie just didn't have the sacks.
This is pretty much over.
Yeah, for sure. Munchlax doing it again.
Oh, that's okay. It's
no, it can't. Meowth can't beat like Panda. Nah. So, yeah, 0 picks up the win, brings his team to 2-0. Booms on him to end the game in style. Wow, that was Weird. We didn't like Zero's position a lot there, but it turned out that it was just fine. I gotta.
Yeah.
Huh. I wanna look back at that game a little bit. Let me click the replay here.
The only big swing I can think of is throwing away the Krogunk.
Yeah, throwing away the Krogunk was definitely weird. I don't know.
I mean, I think Joltik was a better sack at that point, or
Yeah, because Joltik
maybe
wasn't
even
doing
just-
anything at that point anyway, was it? Because what was left on Zero's side? It was Panda, Magby.
there was. You can resist the Pancha, but you also have the Krogunk for that in theory. Like maybe it's an headbutt, which is fair.
Yeah.
A Joltik at 46% isn't gonna live that long either.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't. During the game, we didn't really feel like it was that bad. I still don't like the way Zero played the stunky sequence, but
Yeah, was very.
I mean, it worked out.
But apparently, we have the winner joining us very soon.
Okay.
For commentary.
Well, that's definitely exciting. We will we'll pause until he gets in here then. One. All right, so exciting game, and post game we've got both players in here. Why don't you say hi, guys?
Hey guys, how's it going? It's Zero.
Hello everyone, this is Albin.
All right. Interesting game. We were talking a bit off air while you guys were settling in that we just kind of we all, well, Albie and me particularly, were just kind of like, I don't know where it went wrong really. It was probably around that Pumpkaboo turn. Just playing around the Pumpkaboo here, but yeah. Why don't you let's see. We'll start with Albie. Why don't you talk us through like the team prep and then a little bit of like what you were expecting and stuff like that.
We knew there was gonna be a ghost, and at first we were thinking about Deep, but then he came out with this very cool Shallows team that did very well in tests against all our previous teams, because it's like 3 attacks so you can cover, like Ice Beam, Scald, Earth Power. So it's very tough to switch into, and it really put in a lot of work being able to switch into a lot of stuff, threaten everything that tries to get into it. And then the rest is just like dig that for Joltik, Sparkly as a defogger and as a glue in general. Yeah, the rest is just pretty standard, and there was Meowth because I like it. And yeah, the team did pretty well. I wasn't sure about Shadows at first, but it was very good. Like even here, if it wasn't for Game Charge physical pump up, we probably would have done way more work. So
Yeah.
I really like the team, and yeah, that was that.
Yeah, on preview, I liked your matchup a little bit more, and you see how much of a problem the Meowth is for Zero. I know you hadn't been using Meowth a whole lot this season, but you brought it out for finals.
We also saw that when I played Jogs and they expected Meowth, they didn't really bring a lot of counterplay to it. So I was like, okay, they worked last time and they brought like 2 stuff,
Right.
2 random stuff. But this time they're probably not gonna expect it, so they're gonna be even less prepared for it.
It's really funny. Everybody that I prepped with, I was like, I know he's gonna meow at me. I know it. He hasn't like meowed all season. It's his favorite mon. And honestly, like, there's like almost no counterplay to Meowth. Like, you can throw Flame Body Mon in front of it, or you can run Rock and Steel Mons. Otherwise, like, you can't really stop it. So
There's Kabuto.
yeah, right. You can use a weak armor Rock type. I didn't want to use Kabuto, and I didn't.
You were thinking about it.
I went through a lot of different variations of this team, and this one just felt super powerful. And I knew that the Meowth matchup was a little bit troublesome, but I kind of just had faith that you guys would bring something without as much firepower, and I'd just be able to kind of outgun and break too. Which is kind of what happened here. Like yeah, I mean, this could have been tricky. I think that Shello set is really cool. I've thought about a similar set. But ultimately, I knew that Shellos was really kind of the only thing I needed to break in order to let Magby and Pancham or Joltik do pretty much the rest of the work. And I basically just needed to keep enough sacks or enough HP really to let things eat the Meowth fake outs while I removed the other things. I knew Munch could essentially 1v1 almost everything on the team, with the exception of Krogunk. So that was kind of huge. And yeah, basically, he uncored my Pumpkaboo, and I just, instead of switching out, I just kind of went with it. And I knew that breaking the Cottony or getting a huge amount of chip on it would be great, and then ending up with a +3 speed Pumpkaboo would put a huge amount of pressure on the rest of his team. I wondered if there would be an Ice Beam, and that's why we ran EBO instead of Life Orb Pump, which was super helpful here. I think if I'd been Life Orb, that Ice Beam might have killed or, left me. I mean, after Life Orb chip, I probably would have.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then once I was able to bullet seed the Shellos, I felt really confident. I felt like really the only thing he had at that point was to hit a bunch of dig flinches. So yeah, I mean, I think that was kind of how it went down. But
what I was saying before in the call was that I had answers to Munchlax at that point because I had 3 knockers, Cottony, Meowth, and Krogunk. But the thing is, I lost Cottony because I had to do something for that last speed Pumpkaboo. There was nothing I could have done probably to stop it otherwise. And then I lost Krogunk because I kind of pushed my luck. Like at that point I had to pick a sack when Munchlax came on the field because double edging Earthquake would have killed something regardless.
It seemed like your Krog... Sorry, go ahead, Elby. Go ahead.
And I kind of pushed my luck and went hard into Krogunk, and you caught it with the Earthquake. At that point, like, Meowth was my only win condition, and I couldn't sack it to knock off the Berry Juice. So you were able to kill it. I tried to go for the flinch with Piglet with Iron Head, but I didn't get it. So yeah, that was that.
Yeah, your Krogunk seemed like a super bulky set. Is that right? Were you running Def and Spit Up?
It was minus speed, like very bulky. We ran a lot of tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I think you probably still get KO'd, 2-hit KO'd by Poltergeist, but you might have switched the Krogunk in and kept the Cottony, and that might have been. Was your Krogunk also not?
I mean, at that point, the Cottony was.
Oh, was it dead already?
It was like 27%, so.
Yeah, I mean, just to have
like
another
even if Pancham
thing
came on the field once, you probably would have died.
Right. I mean, just to have another thing to knock, at that point.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know if that necessarily won. I mean, because, if Krogunk kills anything, Magby just revenges and Magby basically just picks. But yeah, I mean, that might have been, I don't know.
Speaking of Magby just picking, there was a sequence here where, like after the pump went down, I think. Yeah, after the pump went down, I was like, all right, cool, and it was just Joltik out. Turn 9. I was like, all right, Magby claims right here, and then you went out to Stunky, and I was like, I don't really like that. I would have kept Stunky to sack to Meowth and grab some aftermath. Can you explain the thought process behind that?
Yeah, that's fair. I basically just I didn't want to, I don't know, I kind of just wanted to keep Magby in the back, but I guess there wasn't really a reason to do that. I totally could have played Magby there, but the Stunky, I thought...
Probably Stunky was not very useful at that point anyway, so you traded for like 50% on Krogunk, it's fine.
Yeah. I had a feeling that the Krogunk might be physical because they brought physical before, but obviously the Drain Punch didn't kill, and then I just went down there vacuum wave, which was fine.
It was mixed anyway. It was like Drain Punch, vacuum waves, large ground, and none.
Yeah, but no, I totally could have just straight gone Magby there and kept the Stunky in the back, but I figured I was kind of...
I mean, it didn't end up mattering, but I just thought it would have been better ultimately to have Stunky to switch into the Meowth to aftermath it and stuff like that, and you didn't get that chip. But it worked out for you.
Yeah, true.
But
so, I did ask this last week, but it got caught in the technical difficulties, and we have an extra week of experience now between these two teams. So, with Carvana gone, how do you guys feel about team building? Is it less stressful? Are there still pressing issues or anything really?
Well, I think it's less stressful overall. It is still pretty intense. There are a few things that feel like, I wouldn't say broken, but threatening to a degree that's impossible to sort of be prepared for all of them, right? Like, it's really hard to check Magni Meowth, Omanite, you know, SD Panch, you know, all these things, even Flame Charge Pump at once. And then things like Sand and Hail, you know, are also like their own separate things.
The biggest thing that changed was that you don't have to run Krogan like 90% of your team. That was basically something that you had to do when Carvana was around, I feel like.
I mean, you still ended up with a Krogan on this team.
And a cut.
I know. but like...
this team does not lose to Carv.
I mean, this makes Hail even a better matchup fish if we want to be honest about it, which is why I think Amora is kind of broken. And I said that when I submitted my list on the 20 best mons, because now the Krogan is not mandatory on every team, Hail is even. But yeah, I think that was the biggest change team building wise. There is still a lot of stuff that's very hard to check all at once. Among which Flame Charge Pump and Lux they were here, both.
Yep.
Yeah, we're discovering that Lax is really difficult when it can just kind of come in and just tank stuff. Zero's team is actually very reminiscent of like a DPP style. It doesn't have rocks. It's just kind of focused on just trading damage back and forth, and I mean. It's weird when that can work.
That's basically my theory of the metagame right now, is that it's in a place where it is almost like DPP. Like, even though we have Eviolite, and, you know, Rain is not like a jumping strategy.
Eviolite.
Yeah, we have, it's just a fast offensive meta where, yeah, you kind of just want to trade down to your win con, basically. Like that's more of a lock than bringing, in my eyes, right now. That feels like the lines for securing your win con there are a lot more direct than using a bulky team, doing a lot of switching, doing a lot of pivoting, and trying to position yourself, which is weird. It's definitely weird for a current metagame.
It did work, and again. Albinson, you also didn't get Stealth Rock up this game if you had it on the Diglett.
Yeah, I had it on the Diglett, but I knew I wasn't gonna get it on. Like, they're like the fourth move because I don't know what else to run, but I don't think rocks are in a very good spot right now. In fact, I had a team that I was testing around that had like Sand and Larvesta. I brought Larvesta last round, but I knew Zero was not gonna be bothered with rocks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, everybody knows, like, I basically just don't play rocks. I mean, you know, I bring them sometimes, but
because even when you bring them, like,
I don't hit.
Either you don't have occasions to use them, or like you use them, but you hit like Pancham or stuff that doesn't really matter too much.
Right. Exactly.
Like, it helps versus very few mons, like the dogs.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a little bit unsure if your dig was gonna memento, but at that point.
Memento for what? Come on now.
Yeah. But, yeah.
What,
I mean,
you weren't bulk up Krogan?
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe Krogan, but
not gonna lie, bulk up Krogan could be pretty good here.
I mean, it would have died to a Magby, but well.
Yeah, true. I mean,
depending on how many boosts you got.
Yeah.
and you'd have to run Sucker on it. So it would depend on the set, but
I
Yeah.
faced Lax in tests, by the way, but
Yeah.
I had shadows around when Lax was on the field, and I was able to like burn it or like chip it down with Scald or my Krogunk. Like this time when Lax came on the field, all of my checks to it were pretty much either dead or almost dead, so you could just pick Earthquake or Double Edge and kill whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, Lax is
My
Lax
good
is
boy
definitely
Shellos had to
dangerous.
sacrifice himself for stuff with Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think not getting a Scald burn on that Punkaroo definitely boned you as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was actually probably the scariest part of the game. I was like, "Fuck, don't burn me."
Because Shadows was actually pretty good. Like against, I guess your pension was more breaker, but like even Nagby, he can shrug off the Thunder Punches pretty easily in revenge. Give his fault.
Yeah,
So
but
it is pretty good. It is a slept on one. Like we tried it in tests. It's very very good. Like you can wall stuff. It can be hard to switch into. So try it out. Definitely.
yeah, no, I've long been someone who's viewed Shellos as like a mon you definitely want to have ways to break. Obviously less so nowadays because I think this was Shellos' first usage of the tour.
Yeah.
So,
it was.
but it does have that potential, and I think it actually could be coming back with anticipated meta shifts. But we'll see how that actually affects things, of course. But
Yeah, honestly, I've thought about running it, and I definitely think like it has potential to do work in the right team structure, but it's really hard to build a team where it kind of fits again in the way that the meta is so offensive.
What do you mean?
You know,
Just run Memento Shellos.
It kind of that's true. That's not a bad call, but it kind of wants to be like a Munch, but it's just not as good as Munch, you know. Like it doesn't hit that hard, and you know, it has kind of arguably better recovery, but it can't tank things quite as well on the special side, and it can get
It
overwhelmed.
sounds to me like it's time for Sand Force Earth Power Shellos then.
Yeah, there we go.
I like
I
it.
thought about that when I was building my sand teams back around whatever the week that was, week 5. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a cool mon though. You gotta love the mirror code counter combo as well. And,
Yeah,
Yeah, it has a lot of options. It's just none of them are particularly great at the moment.
yeah,
it doesn't get the time to make any of the options work.
Yeah,
yeah.
but
But I
Yeah.
guess that's the end of the season then.
yeah, it's the end of the
Indeed
season.
it is.
What
a season.
Yeah, we went through
Yeah.
a couple of like mini shifts within the meta with things getting a little more warped around Carvana, just as being a huge threat. We banned that now, and I don't think it changed much of what was going on. We obviously saw a little bit less Krogunk, but I feel like annoyingly we haven't gotten we've only got more offensive, I think, as the
Yep.
season's gone on, rather than returning to a more balanced or bulky offensive.
offense.
Yeah, which is not my
It's
ideal
not
meta.
necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, but it's not my ideal meta. But you know,
Bunga bunga meta, let's go.
Yeah, the more offensive means like if you get the right matchup, it's just very hard to come back from it.
yeah. So we will be looking at ways to develop the meta to a less matchup-y way. I don't think this one was decided by matchup really
No,
at all.
This one was
Yeah, but
talking about this.
yeah.
I don't think either of the semifinals matches were decided by matchup either.
What were the
Yeah,
semifinals matches again?
Me versus KSG. No,
Yeah, I mean,
if
team-wise,
anything,
obviously.
KSG probably. Well, don't know if he had matchup advantage. We had a good matchup there, but it wasn't like a huge disparity. It was, you know.
Hey, Albinson's semifinal matchup was decided by matchup, but it was player matchup, not team.
Well, yeah, that was. Yeah,
I can't tear the players out of the tier.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can, but that's some very aggressive tiering for sure. But yeah, any final thoughts on this game, on the season as a whole? Any mons you wish you could have used that you didn't? Any surprising techs like that you enjoyed? You know, feel free.
This team started out with Kabuto for the Meowth, and then it went to Omanite, and then I wasn't really loving my results with either of them, so I realized Magby is just kind of nuts, and it looks really good against Albi Scout, so the Magby went in there, even though it kind of created a little bit of a scarier matchup for Rocks. I kind of didn't care. Yeah, but I do think Kabuto and Omanite are both very threatening. Even Turt is a pretty threatening mon. All of those mons have a lot of potential and are super underexplored right now.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff that is underexplored. Even after all these games, like finding out that Shadows can be actually good in the finals. Like after 9 weeks, having like 4 matches a week and nobody brought it. Like, I think there's a lot of stuff that could be explored more.
Definitely, yeah.
Because the tier is very diverse, it's very balanced, so everything can work under the rug.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, we're about to get a VR update, and we've got quite a few mons in that A- and above range to show just how many mons people think are like worthy of that. We've got like 21 mons like that are A- or above, which I think is a pretty high amount.
Just more than 3 full teams of very viable Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yep.
As far as my personal buildings and techs that I wish I could have used, I really wanted to bring. Well, I did bring Life Orb Turt, but it didn't win. But I think Life Orb Turt slaps. It would have 6-0'd 0 here if it hits moves. But
That's a big if.
Yeah. But it could.
Yeah.
I mean, I brought a lot of wacky techs this season. Some more successful than others. I mean, I had the Scarf Machop week 1. I had the Psychic Terrain Slowpoke week 3 versus 0, which wasn't successful, but yeah, I don't know. I think I definitely went out of my way and explored options as far as I could.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about okay, what do we do about Meow? We about your Psychic Terrain team, and it's like if only that were like a more, I don't know, usable thing, but it just feels really hard, to make that.
Even if you're in versus Meow and you pick Psychic Terrain, you just get knocked off.
Right. Or you turned on or whatever.
Yeah.
I think we all talked about Combine Larvesta. Nobody ended up bringing it, but that thing's fucking demonic. If you can build around it and get it in. That's fine.
Definitely a matchup mon, no.
Yeah, definitely matchup.
But yeah, no, I almost brought it in my last team, but ended up going a different direction. I also kind of wanted to bring a rain, like at least semi-rain team. I've recently been toying with like Omanite on rain with Meteor Beam, but didn't actually end up doing so. Though I think it's kind of neat in certain games. But we'll just explore that.
The Pro-Gunk is less common, definitely.
Yeah. We can back it up with Mantike. Mantike also didn't see much usage this season. I think only the one game, week 1.
The rain team.
Yeah, the rain team, but it was the wrong Mantike for the rain team.
Yeah, I feel like Mantike works better when it sets rain dance for itself, maybe with life orb or something like that. It can be very threatening, like switching into Hydro Pump life orb under rain is a pain, unless you have like Beat or Program.
Yeah, but Krogan can't switch. Doesn't want to
Yeah,
deal with
exactly.
Mantike either.
Yes.
Yeah. There's obviously
I
like
think Mantike
Helioptile,
also
but
works better in a slightly less offensive meta.
I would
definitely.
tend to agree. I would tend to agree with that. We had the re-emergence of electric types, Joltik, obviously establishing itself as one of the premier mons in LCUU. It hadn't really reached that level in past seasons, even though people had always thought it was pretty good. Elekid obviously made some appearances, though had less of an impact, and even Helioptile showed up a couple times, I think, or maybe just once, but it absolutely destroyed me when I played against it. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about bringing Helio a few times, particularly this week, but I didn't like stacking the Krogunk weakness with Munch, or on the versions of the team where there was the rock type. So Joltik just feels like a safer play to have that, semi-fighting resist. But Helio is really cool. I mean, it's a solid mon. The dry skin is awesome. Having the U-turn and the bolt switch is great. But yeah, it definitely feels like it's just a notch below the other two right now.
I'd tend to agree with that, but yeah, I think we're running out of steam here. So unless there are any final statements, announcements, things like that.
I just want to give a really quick shout out to everyone who's been on here, but in particularly JC, because he was the one who pitched the idea to do weekly casts, and I gotta say it's been really fun to do, and it also helped me and hopefully others who watched to understand the metagame better by just talking about it.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, big shout out to JC and to doing this cast with you guys. It's been super fun. I think people really enjoy watching it. I think it's great for the tier. Yeah, and it's awesome to just talk about our ideas.
Yeah, I definitely had fun participating, even if I didn't participate as much, but it was very fun to like wake up to the video and just watch it.
Yeah.
Watch the games and the comments.
Mm-hmm. No, I had a lot of fun doing these as well, and we know I'm too lazy to actually do content without being forced. So JC is definitely one to thank on that. With the LPL season ending, though, there's not really as much of an impetus to do these in the future, though we could keep them up. I think next week in particular we'll have some things to talk about if we want to do these again. Just as next week will be the but well, I mean we'll talk about that a little bit more off air, I suppose. We've got a special lower tier LC tour coming up, mini tour. It'll be like teams of 5 players. Well, it's 4 and 1 sub. 2 slots LCUU, 2 slots LCRU, I believe.
That's correct.
And it'll just be a mini tour. Sign up, grab some goons, put your teams together. LCRU is going to be rekindled once we get this VR update out here. As for those of you who don't know, LCRU's based on not usage because we don't have enough usage, but it's going to be based off of the UU VR. Everything B- and below will be eligible, and yeah, that's kind of fun. You get to see mons like Zorua and Stuffle really show out there. So if you enjoy the underused of underused, that might be the tier for you. Other than that, do we have anything else to bring up here? I don't think so.
I think it's
I just
a
hope
good
my
moment.
team gets it back since we're down 2-0. So.
Oh yes, finals. The score of the finals.
Please.
Score of the finals right now is 2-0 to the Azurals, managed by Levi and Fee, and they're over the Riolus, managed by Laroxel and OJR.
Yeah, I gotta give a big shout out to Levi, Phil, and Jox, who was instrumental in me being drafted by the Azurals. And yeah, thanks so much for giving me the chance to play. I think this season went pretty okay. I mean, I wish it was a 5-2 and not a 4-3, but still going positive is good. And I had some really good games. I beat the people I wanted to beat for the most part.
Give me
So,
a break.
yeah,
Complaining
it's
about a
super fun.
4-3.
Hopefully we can take it all
Yes.
home today or tomorrow. Yeah.
Give me a break.
I also want to give a shout out to Laroxino JR and he's for helping me out so much, like so much with building, and and Laroxino JR for draft, giving me the chance to play.
Also, Bronzeware's family, of course. A lot of my team building and testing has been done with you guys. And you're all amazing. So thanks so much for being the support system. Couldn't do it without y'all. I'm super stoked. Albie's part of the fam now, and we're going to be fucking riding for this LC lower tour tier. We're back again. We're going to take the championship a second time. So stoked for that.
We'll see about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that sounds like the end here. I don't have any shout outs other than Crashy for being cool co-manager. Love teaming with that guy. And sorry I was shit this season, but it's fine. We'll bounce back. 3K Joltage LPL7. Let's make it happen. Anyway, guys,
You'll never be 3K. No matter how hard you take, you'll never be 3K Joltage.
We'll see about that. But if you enjoyed, please feel free to hit the like, say subscribe for more non-LCOU content until LCOU is not crap anymore. Which, any bets on if that's going to happen? Like,
I'm gonna get stake signs about that.
okay. Hopefully it does. Because I enjoy when it is good. Anyway, yeah, we'll see you next time. And
See you guys.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.